Welcome back. Now, they may not be allowed to vote, but Nigerians in the diaspora are following the entire electoral process very keenly. Earlier, I spoke to one of them who is based in the United Kingdom, Jermaine Sanwo-Olu. I began by asking him what he makes of the process so far and fears that the elections may turn violent. Yeah, Jermaine Sanwo-Olu, thank you very much for joining us on the program. And let me just start by asking you what you make of the elections that is coming up. We're talking about the presidential election now that will be taking place 14th of February. You are now in the country. You at least you must have observed certain things. Tell us what your feelings are. Do you have any fears?
Well, I don't think I have any fears right now. I'm actually optimistic and I have a lot of faith. Hoping that the 2015 elections will actually come out very, very well. I was privileged to speak to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Chief Pius Ayim, and he spoke about all what the federal government is doing to ensure it's peaceful. And also the PRO for the police force also said that everything should be peaceful. Abuja, where I am right now, seems very quiet, very cool, very calm. No troubles, and I heard Lagos too is quiet too. So we are keeping fingers crossed, that everything will go very well.
Let's talk about those of you in the diaspora. Even though you are in Nigeria at the moment, you are a diaspora Nigerian. I know you'll be going back to the United Kingdom where you are based very shortly. Tell me how you feel that you won't be taking part in these very crucial elections because, we still do not have diaspora and voting in this country.
Yeah, that's a very good observation. And that's what we in the diaspora are crying for. We want our voice to be heard through our votes. We know that the president promised that hopefully in time there will be diaspora voting, and we're really looking forward to that. But I believe that most of us in the diaspora have come to realize that even though we can't vote, the diaspora can make their voice heard through, their initiatives that they bring on board, through investments that they need to the country, and through various ideas, innovations that they can actually implement.
Tell me what you are doing, for instance, in the United Kingdom to promote free and fair elections in Nigeria, because there are fears that this election may not go so well. So what exactly are those of you based in the United Kingdom doing to ensure, for instance, that politicians get the message that these elections must be transparent and that they must be better than the previous ones we've had?
Well, we in the United Kingdom are doing a lot to actually ensure that the elections go very safely. Many United Kingdom diasporans, actually are in the UK, are in Nigeria right now, contributing one way or the other to monitor elections with INEC and also to just, play their role in doing that. You see many of us in the diaspora that are Twitter and social media savvy. We're actually, tweeting, saying a lot of things. And there are a lot of conferences going on in the UK. I've just been invited to speak in one in the University of Leeds, which is all about saying no to violence. So the diasporans are actually saying that, this is our country, this is our motherland. We have to ensure that it's peaceful. And you should know that the diaspora community has a lot of impact when it comes to liaising with things like the British government, the American government, to try and ensure that there is safety and there is peaceful elections. Many diasporans are actually going on television shows talking about their ideas and their thoughts towards what should be done for peaceful elections. So we are trying to do a lot.
How concerned are you when you hear, people, for instance, in the past few weeks in this country, we've seen ex-militants from the Niger Delta come out to actually issue a threat, for instance, saying that if President Goodluck Jonathan was not returned as the president, that there would be war in this country. We've also had incidences of President Goodluck Jonathan's convoy actually being stoned in the north. We've been having some, hate speeches on the campaign trail. Is this a concern for you? Well,
it's a major concern for us in the diaspora and me personally, because I love my country, and that is the truth. Because we are Nigerians. Nigeria is more than just a nation with borders. I am Nigeria, you, DEJI, are Nigeria. And if Nigeria is divided, if Nigeria there's fighting and violence, it's going to affect our personal lives. So we really want the politicians, to quit the games of name calling and playing mud slinging, and ensure that, just like the peace accord that was signed with Kofi Annan in Abuja recently, Buhari and President Jonathan coming together and saying, you know what, we want to see peace. That's what should be resonating right now. Not violence, not all that. What happened, them stoning the president's campaign car and all that. It's not right. It's not called for. We need to embrace peace. We need to know that, as far as I told me in the interview, he said, that we should know that politics is a game. You have to use what is to your advantage and what your opponent doesn't really have going. But we can do it in a civil way that the United States of America, in England, the House of Commons, when they're always talking regularly.
Well, we seem to be having a problem with the line, but let me just ask you this final question, if you can hear me. So come February 14th, which is just a couple of weeks down the line, what do you expect to see?
Well, I expect to see a peaceful elections. You mentioned in the last question that the South and the people are saying, there's a lot of, if Jonathan does not win, there's going to be trouble. I pray, they have a change of mind. I pray the major stakeholders and influential people there and youth leaders have their different thoughts. If Buhari wins, I'm sure everybody has to be calm. If Jonathan wins, everybody has to be calm. When I was, I handled some of the PR for some campaigns in the UK, and my story was picked up by Punch newspaper. When Jimmy Agbaje came to the UK and said something very simple, but many people misunderstood it, that if the South, if Jonathan does not enter, there will be trouble. They have the potential to cause problem. If the North does not win, they have the potential to cause trouble. And these are realities that we are facing. But we need to ensure that we do not let these possibilities become our realities. We need to embrace peace. So I beg INEC, I beg everyone that is involved in this political process to ensure that violence is fairly stamped down. The police needs to come out in full force, and the government has to have an emphatic no to violence in this election.
Well, Jermaine Sanwo-Olu, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much. And please keep up the good work you're doing with Diaspora PR. I know your organization is doing quite a lot in the United Kingdom, and I want to believe your organization is trying as much as possible to promote Nigeria there, right?
Yes. Yeah, we're actually doing a lot in Diaspora PR right now, promoting Nigerians doing great work, because we need to promote community spirit. And also, I just launched a magazine, DiasporaLifestyle.com, which is going to highlight the diaspora culture, the food, the fashion, what we do, the lifestyle we live as diaspora. And so people in Nigeria can know what we are doing. And, Nigerian businesses and people who want to showcase their goods and services to the diasporans will have a platform. So DiasporaLifestyle.com, DiasporaPR.com is a place to visit to know more about how you can actually play a part in spreading your word about what you do and also contribute to the diasporan community.
Jermaine Sanwo-Olu, CEO of Diaspora PR, thank you very much for joining us. Now let's turn our attention to something else. Early this week, Boko Haram launched a daring attack on the city of Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State in northeast Nigeria. Government troops succeeded in repelling the attack, but it sent shockwaves across the state, forcing some residents to flee. Now, just imagine what the situation would have been if the city had fallen to Boko Haram. Take a listen to how one of the foremost security experts in Nigeria paints the scenario of the sect capturing Maiduguri.
It will be very dire because Maiduguri is a metropolis. It's an SMSA, Standard Metropolitan Statistical Area, with over 2 million residents. It's going to be a slaughter. It's going to be a carnage because Boko Haram is going to take revenge on the residents of Maiduguri. And it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be, and then we have military formations there, which will capitulate, and it's going to hurt the war effort because a lot of the sorties that are being flown, they are being flown from the Air Provost Group in Maiduguri. a lot of the sorties that are being flown from there or from TAC in Makurdi. So that's going to hurt combat capability of the military. So I think, and of course, what Shekau wants to do is he wants to complete the sweep, because it's a long time they've been eyeing Maiduguri. Maiduguri is supposed to be their historic Mecca. When in those days they used to say, go east. East means go to Maiduguri. So if they are able to take control of that city, it will have a very significant psychological effect on them, and also grant them huge tactical advantages, which they can use to prosecute their agenda. And the worst part of it is that there's going to be a lot of dead bodies in that place, because that's a very big city. And if these guys go in there and they have all their weaponry, they're going to kill a lot of people. And we don't want that.
Now, there have been reports that Boko Haram is planning to launch another attack on the city. We asked Dr. Ekomo if he thought this was a possibility. Take a listen to what he said.
They've been known to do that. They struck Damaturu, and they made a run for Government House. They were repelled, and they came back 2 weeks later and struck Damaturu again. They were making another run for Government House. So they had been eyeing Maiduguri for a long time. They've been only 30, 40 kilometers away from Maiduguri. They've not been too far away from that place. They've been eyeing it for a while. And so I think this is typical of what they normally do. They come, they launch, it's like a feint. They launch a feint attack, and they see how you respond to it before they come back. So I think my advice right now to the military is to expect an even bigger onslaught from Boko Haram soon, because the attack that they launched, we saw this past weekend, was just a feint. It was to draw us out and see what kind of defenses we have in place against them, such that their military tacticians and strategists can go back and, figure out what to do and how to counter our offensive moves. Even though right now we don't have much of an offense, we play defense. We've been taking the body blows. They attack us and we defend our position, but we don't go in fresh pursuit of the enemy. I'm not sure why, but the commanders in the field, I'm sure they have their reasons why they do that. We really don't need to wait for another attack. What I called for in my paper is that we should do a troop surge. We should send in 3 divisions of the army to go and occupy that place and flush those guys out of that place. And once you do that, then you can pacify the place. In 3 months, the whole place will be pacified. It will be quiet, and there will be no Boko Haramism anymore. But in a situation where we are not doing that, we are kind of just staying and playing defense, and they keep taking more territory from us.
Now let's hope our troops stand up to anything thrown at them by the sect. But truth be told, it's time Nigerian troops began launching counter-offensive operations against the insurgents and not just sitting back and repelling attacks. Now, there had been reports that Nigeria is not getting the support of the United States of America in the fight against the Boko Haram insurgency. The report even gained credence when the Nigerian government abruptly stopped a U.S.-led military training for Nigerian troops. But U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, who was in the country recently, painted a completely different picture over what the situation is. Listen to what he said.
The United States is deeply engaged with Nigeria. And I've seen the articles that refer to some of the problems with respect to that engagement. Everybody's heard certain criticisms that have been made. Some of them are just flat out inaccurate. For instance, we do continue to share intelligence with the Nigerian military and intelligence folks. We do cooperate in many ways. We don't believe that the level of support provided by the United States or the international community is the limiting factor in the Nigerian government's ability to fight Boko Haram. And with respect to the military assistance that we're delivering, we are currently helping Nigeria to increase the capability of its military, to improve its counter-incident explosive detection and civil military operations capacity, and to carry out responsible counterterrorism operations. Now, does it always work as well as we would like, or as well as the Nigerians would like? The answer is no. There are developmental issues in that relationship and in those efforts. But the United States maintains a very significant level of military cooperation with various elements of the Nigerian security forces. And we're also providing law enforcement assistance, including by training Nigerian law enforcement officials on counterterrorism investigations and post-blast investigations and crisis management. Right now, we have a team of Nigerian government crisis management officials in the United States who are participating in a senior crisis management exercise. We have provided equipment and training for the Nigerian Intelligence Fusion Center. And most recently, we've worked with Nigeria's neighbors, Cameroon, Chad, and Niger, to develop institutional and tactical capabilities that will increase the joint efforts between our countries in order to be more effective. So, bottom line, we want to do more. And that was part of my message to both President Jonathan and General Buhari today. We are prepared to do more, but our ability to do more will depend to some degree on the full measure of credibility, accountability, transparency, and peacefulness of this election. And one of the principal reasons that President Obama asked me to come here at this moment is to reinforce to all Nigerians the desire of the United States to be able to engage even more so in the effort to push back against Boko Haram or any other violent extremist group. But the quality of the democratic process is important to contributing to our ability to do so.
Well, what can I say? That's it on the program. If you want to watch it again, it's simple. Just go to our website. The address is tv360nigeria.com. You'll find the program and lots more there. You can also watch us on YouTube by subscribing to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/TV360Nigeria. You could also follow us on Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria, or just like us on Facebook. The address is facebook.com/TV360 online. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is at TV360 online. Thank you very much for watching. We're back again next week.